Before we get in the video, please like, make sure to subscribe, turn on your notifications, go ahead and leave a comment below, and click on the how you can help, which brings up the Family Friendly Game website and gives you lots of ideas how you can help us. Thank you.
Hey everybody, Paul Berry, Family Friendly Gaming. This is FFG Chronicles on the biggest, largest, major disaster and problem we have in our world today. This is the worst problem we have to deal with. It's redefiners. This has been going on since the 1920s. That's when the movement first started. If you go look at the history, they started trying to redefine things. They didn't get any traction until the 1960s when they attempted to redefine love. In the 70s, they decided they would redefine mental illness. The 80s, we started getting into words, and I think also some history. The 90s, they also were going into history. In 2000s, I can't remember, it was the 2010s, whatever it was, when they tried to redefine institutions. We've gotten to the point where we can't even communicate with one another because of the redefinitions. So let me give you an example. You tell someone, you're being like George Washington. One person goes, awesome, thank you, what a compliment. Another person goes, that's horrible, how dare you insult me so? How is it possible that that one statement could have the exact opposite reactions? Because one side sees George Washington as a hero who did wonderful and great things. He stepped away from power and became an amazing example of giving up power as the president for America. Another side says, well, he was a slave owner and he had slaves and he was horrible, and maybe he had slaves' teeth, and part of his dentures were slave teeth. It's possible, we don't know for certain, but we'll throw out the accusation and we'll sit there and accuse him of things and we'll see how horrible he was, right? That's where we've gotten with the redefinitions of words, morals, ethics, institutions, history. It gets to the point where you can't even communicate with people, because if you say something, they're going to take it a completely opposite way of how you intended it. So your meaning is one thing, they see the exact opposite. So how do we even do this? The biggest fix and the best fix is everyone has to reject the attempts to redefine. And I'm saying this knowing that it probably is not going to happen. That the people who are so stuck on redefining things are not going to stop. They're continuing. If you go and look, they've gone from deciding that they want to redefine marriage as allowing homosexuals to marry to now redefining pedophilia. They say that's okay as well. See, they didn't stop. They just keep going to the next thing. They're not going to quit because, oh, I got my way with this one thing with some people. I'm going to, be content and live out my life and say thank you and go about my business. No, they're going to go to the next thing, and then the next thing, and the next thing. And you're also seeing people say, well, I should be able to marry my dog or my cat or my horse or my cow, and that should be, you're like, what? That you go back and go, that's absolute insanity. You go back 20 years, and people are like, no one would ever even try that. But now they're trying it. So what they do is they push the envelope and they just keep pushing and pushing and pushing, and then they're not going to ever be content. And they're not going to ever stop. So those who are trying to redefine, we know aren't going to quit. They're just going to keep going. And then those of us who are traditional, we're not going to stop either. We're not going to go, oh, I'm just going to let you keep having your way. No, we're going to say, no, we reject that redefinition. So what it comes down to is you have two different sides that they're never going to meet. And in essence, you have to sit there and say, if you have the right to redefine things, we have the right to redefine it back. If you have a moral obligation to redefine, we have the moral obligation to redefine it back, and it's better to redefine it back than it is to redefine it. You see what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Kind of the logic there. So I would love for people to say, we got to pick one moral, one ethics, and stick with it, right? For me, I pick the morals and ethics that align with obedience to God. So when you have all these others that they're picking rebellion against God, I'm not going to ever side with them. Ever. It's not going to happen. They're just going to be like, they're not going to get their way with me ever. Ultimately, what's going to have to happen is the entire society is going to have to pick one, right? And you're seeing, like with the media, they've picked one and they're viciously attacking those who disagree with them. The cancel culture, the destroy anyone who doesn't give the same opinion. They're acting just like the Gestapo did in World War II in Germany. So what you have to do is go, okay, they're being horrible, and so my hope is all the people in the middle who are trying to figure it out, like, should I go here, should I go there? I'm hoping they're looking at this and going, well, they're acting vicious, nasty, hateful, and they're the victims. Maybe we should tell them, stop doing this. Stop trying that. Anyway, I understand that this is obviously could be a very controversial topic to some, but I want to kind of get debate and discussion going and think about what is right and what is wrong, and should they be allowed to redefine these things or not. I'd like to thank everyone for watching. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.